Well, we've invited Andy Bannister, a Christian apologist, to help us conclude with our questions on pain control. Andy, people lose their belief in God when they see loved ones suffer or when they have to suffer like this. They think God doesn't give a care. Have you got any evidence that says he does? But they shouldn't lose faith.
It's tough, isn't it, Lorna? I think, as somebody once said, you know, virtue in distress and vice in triumph make atheists of mankind. And I think that's never more true than when it comes to pain and suffering. It's very raw and it hits people in their spirit, as one of your previous commentators said. But I think one of the first things I'd want to say is this. If we throw God out, if we reject God, if we turn our backs on God when we're faced with pain and suffering and disease, the question I would want to ask is, what does that actually leave us with? What do you actually gain when you throw God away? That doesn't solve the problem of suffering. It doesn't take the pain away. It doesn't cure the disease. All it actually does is remove perhaps one of the biggest resources we have for dealing with the whole problem. Because you see, if you turn from God, my question would be to somebody, to what would you turn? Because when you look at, say, the atheist alternative, that worldview, that alternative to the Christian worldview says, well, pain and suffering, that's part of life. Just live with it. There is no meaning, there is no hope. Nature is red in tooth and claw. So I think the first thing I would want to challenge somebody who's thinking that is to say, however hard it is, first stop and ask the question, have you seriously asked yourself, from God to what or to whom would you turn? Because I think God is actually the most powerful resource we have for answering and dealing with that problem of pain.
And why is suffering part of God's love?
I wouldn't necessarily connect suffering with God's love like that. I mean, I think one of the interesting things is this. When you turn to the Bible and ask the Bible, what is the reason for suffering? What does the Bible have to say about pain and suffering? The first thing the Bible says, and I think it's unique actually among all the worldviews, all the ideologies out there, the Bible starts by saying, Lorna, that the world is not the way it is supposed to be. There is such a thing as evil. The world is twisted. The world is mixed up.
And there is such a thing as pain as part of that.
There is such a thing as pain.
Okay, obviously we've got to put a lot more of this on our web resources this week, and we're busy doing that, so check us out at the web. Send us your concerns. Send us your story. We would be happy to do that. For all this at Context, thanks for watching. I'm Lorna Durrett.